We all know about AI. That's like 15 years or more. In fact, when I was young, I was already 32 years ago doing AI. So we learned AI, machine learning, and then deep learning, and basically we understood how to secure and trust these technologies. Now, a few years ago, like 2 years ago, we have generative AI and LLMs, and that caused an enormous new problem because we have to manage a new threat landscape, in particular the prompt injection. And frankly speaking, we are able to contain it, but are we really resolving the problem? Perhaps not entirely, and probably not. Now, there is something new coming called agentic AI. So what agentic AI is imagine that you have two LLMs on steroid with an operating system behind it, if I can put it this way, and they are going to work with each other autonomously, exchanging LLM code, but as well exchanging SLI code. That means a code that's going to help them organize themselves. So let's consider, for example, that we want to have a network that now will be managed by agentic AI. So you could have the program manager, you could have the network manager, the monitoring manager, and the developer, and all of them are not humans anymore. They are agentic AI. So the problem this is causing is, first of all, that's an unprecedented phenomenon. For example, if you discuss with very large constituencies and hyperscalers, they would confess you that tens of thousands of their developers are working on it. It's a gold rush. And we multiply that by the number of constituencies and finance sector, everybody is actually working on it. So in a few months from now, we're going to see a wave of new solutions based on agentic AI. The problem is that, one, we have absolutely no model to secure that in an interoperable manner. So what we have is bespoke solutions by provider A and B and C, and this is moving on a daily basis. So we have something that is in explosion, that is not controlled. So the metaphor I will use, I take that from a friend of mine, is like you have wild horses that are now in the wild. And the only thing we can do is create a good pasture, some green lawn somewhere with a gentle fence where we can redirect the horses in this place and then get them to calm down. That's basically the only thing we can do at this stage. So to understand the issue is that if you have an agentic AI, now the problem is that it's not just you need to give it an identity, but you need to understand the intention. For a human, it's easy. You give a digital ID to a person and you know it's a person. What it does doesn't really matter. But for an agentic AI, there's a difference because you need to understand what is the intention. If the intention is bad, we have a problem. How are we going to trust and create the trust behind it? So the issue we have is enormous because, first of all, we have no mechanism and no framework for trust at the AI, machine learning, at the whole AI, Gen AI, and agentic AI piece. So we have some for one part of the spectrum, but not for the other part of the spectrum. But behind this, we need a digital identity. So, for example, if you want to have an agentic AI that you need to delegate a payment, an access to your address book or to your wallet, in this case, how are you going to manage the delegation of administration, the delegation of rights? And behind the scene, we see that we are missing an entire trust framework. So let's build a matrix. Let's imagine that we have in the first column digital ID for humans and digital ID for non-humans. Let's say agentic AI to be precise in this case. Let's make 3 lines. The first line is the protocols. Well, the protocols, we have worked on that for humans, not so much for agentic AI. Then go down a level on the trust management framework. We don't have anything. And go down to the rule of law. We have nothing. So in this 2x3 matrix, we only resolve even badly one corner of that matrix. So now you understand that if the first layer is agentic AI, missing a digital identity that itself needs to be fixed, now you see the problem we are facing. So these two issues are linked together because agentic AI without digital identity cannot work, and this is taking us by short. We are late. It's a race. However, we have an opportunity by fixing this problem to then come back to human identities on all the spectrum and fix it completely. So that's the problem and the opportunity we have at stage. Now is the good moment to do standardization, and that's why at SG17 we are working on this problem.